when did you decide, all right, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out on my own and I'm going to use, I'm going to use this tech that I have and my improvisational skills and my wits, and I'm going to make this musical mashup of music comedy. When does that happen?
I mean, that happened, I think, when I was about 31 or 32. I was in my band Mock Tube, which was a really amazing band to be a part of, a great band. But we'd been together for 5 years, and we'd gone through a bunch of hype cycles with labels and like, execs coming out, Jimmy Iovine coming out to watch us and like doing showcases in LA and stuff like that, Viper Room. And we'd almost something would happen. And then we'd go back to like, oh, they passed or whatever. And then we would work on another record or something like that. And I just wasn't seeing it evolving beyond, the third time that we'd gone through that. So, and I was doing comedy, and then I saw, what are they called? Please, Michael Showalter, Michael Ian Black.
Oh, The State?
David
The
Wayne.
State.
Not The State. Stella. Yeah, I was post-State. I learned about State later, but I saw Stella and I was like, what is this? Those little shorts shot on DV.
Yep.
And I was like, this is my humor. These guys know how meaningless things are. And like, and that's so beautiful. And so I identified with that. And then they ended up, I think Wet Hot American Summer came out. Yeah. And I saw that and I was like, totally like, oh, yes, I want to do that. I was so driven and inspired by those things. And then they happened to come to town. Stella did come to town. I met Eugene Merman, and I was introduced by a friend, and he was like, we have a comedy night in New York, and then I ended up writing with a band, and they needed me in New York for the writing session for a month. So while I was there, I did a couple spots that invite them up, and instant friends with everybody.
That's great.
It was like being in high school again. It was exactly, whenever I get up on stage solo these days, I'm like, this is what I was doing in high school. This is exactly the same shit with a little bit more tech.
It's funny. I do feel like there's this, and it applies to everybody. There's this period of your life where you feel completely isolated and alone, and then you're working on your thing in complete anonymity, and then time goes by and you just keep working on it, and then slowly it's like any of those movies where someone's off on a journey and they pick up people along the way. Do you know, like some kind of Hobbit tale or something? But you're on your journey and you pick up people, and then we're joined by this creature, and then this guy decides to come along, and then we meet this woman and she comes along, and you just build up this troupe, and then finally you find kind of what the mission is. Yeah. But it comes much later.
You're right.
And I'm always trying to encourage, I think there's sometimes younger people feel this pressure to know right away what it is. And I think you don't know yet. You just keep working on these instincts that you have. And this other stuff will come to you because some time has to go by. That's just necessary.
That's exactly right. I mean, when some of my younger friends or younger artists are like, how do you make it? And, how did you, basically that's like the question, but how do you make it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You don't have to worry about making it. Like, what you have to make is the thing that you love to do.
Yes.
And do that. Yeah. And most importantly, find the community. Like, go out to the nights, watch people on the lineup. Don't be backstage talking to everybody. That's nice, once in a while, of course. But like, if you can see a few people on the lineup, look at what they're doing and have fun, laugh at it. Don't be analyzing it. Just like have a fun time laughing at it. Get involved in the scene and be inspired that way. And then like, oh yeah, that was a dumb idea. Oh, what if, and then you make your stuff and you just follow the fun, and the fun leads you to opportunities. I really think it's that simple, even though but it's hard to not be worried, because you might be like, oh, I'm taking a little bit of a gamble, or someone's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it at this. And those are okay thoughts. But, I always tell people, like, if you wake up in the morning and you can't not be thinking about a bit, and if you're always doing bits, like that's kind of what you are.
Yeah.
You're not going to change that. So you might as well make a career out of it.
No, I've always maintained that my career is me doing what I'd be doing anyway. And then I was fortunate to find some people who had money, and owned the machinery, who were like, well, you can do it for us. But it's the dirty little secret is that if they said, well, we're done and we're taking away all the equipment, I'd say, okay, well, back to my bits.
Yeah, here are my old bits. Like you just open up his closet.
Whatever.
Like,
and I would just do it in an empty field.
Yes.
And I think, and a you know, whatever, a passing dove would say, that seems sad. He's not aging well. He sure isn't. Who are you, Mr. Turtle?
I didn't know you could talk.
Everyone trucks.
And it just becomes this whole thing about how they can't believe each other can talk. And you're like, but my bits.
We're finding out we can talk. And you're obsessed with your bits, Conan?
Yeah, but here's my bit about Ronald Reagan. You know. Well, that's not interesting enough. So how did you learn to talk?
Toadstool? How could the toadstool not like my Reagan bit?
Oh my God.
You write in the book that because I noticed that just in tour that the women are quite taken with Mr. Reggie Watts, and then you write in the book that your dream girl is Pippi Longstocking.
Oh, me too.
Really?
Gourley?
I
Go
had
ahead.
a huge crush on Inger Nilsson, the original.
Oh, yeah. Well, also the concept, but yes, she was great. She was great. She was a great embodiment of it, yes.
Yeah. Oh, and Inger called stop writing her letters.
Well, no, but because of this show, they interviewed me for a Pippi documentary.
No!
So we talked about it on here, and they sent me a signed vinyl with Inger, Tommy, and Annika.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, who are the other two?
Tommy and Annika.
Okay. Can you fill in just for people that are listening and had some sort of a childhood? What people want to know who the other two are.
Tommy
Well,
and
I'm
Annika
sorry.
are like her normal kid sidekicks.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
they're
all we
sidekicks.
needed to know.
Yeah. They're friends. They're part of the crew. Yeah.
But she's amazing.
She's amazing. She was super strong.
Uh-huh.
She had a basement full of treasure.
Yeah.
So she had unlimited funds.
Yeah.
She could travel anywhere.
She could lift a horse.
She could lift a horse. She could, she was magical. She had like, red hair. I'm half redhead. She had pigtails that were magical, and like she had cool style.
I'm having such a sense memory right now. I'm in my grandfather's small house in Misquamicut, Rhode Island, and there's a Pippi Longstocking movie that comes on, and this might have been with Inger.
I'm sure.
And back then there's
For
only
sure.
3 channels. This TV in Misquamicut, Connecticut, near the State Beach, doesn't get much reception of anything. So you'd see the same thing over and over again, and they were running a commercial for the Pippi Longstocking movie.
Yeah.
And there was just one line that rang in my head, which is a weird overdubbed. Someone, I think,
It was all
overdubbing. Like,
overdubbed.
Yeah, because it was Swedish.
It's
and
Swedish.
Then her accent would change from film to film. She would
Yeah.
have just like a transatlantic, and then some films she'd just be like, "I'm from Brooklyn. I'm Pippi Longstocking."
Oh,
you
wow.
know.
Well, okay, so what I remember, you tell me if this at all rings a bell, is she's lifting a horse, she's running super fast, like at 100 miles an hour, and they've just sped up her legs. She's doing all these crazy things, and then they just cut to a very European weird kid, and it looked like poor quality film stock, who goes, "Pippi, are you crazy?"
Yeah, that's probably Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I remember seeing that and going, what kind of movie is this?
You summed it
And
up.
my grandfather, a retired policeman, would say, "Turn that crap off! Pippi, are you crazy?" Wow. So
But they're
why?
using clips from this podcast in that documentary because we talked about it.
Well, we're going to talk about it more now.
I know.
And where's my cut, by the way? I want a piece of that.
Pippi money's huge.
Pippi money. Give me that long stock.
I want in on that Longstocking money. So what is it about Pippi Longstocking? You first and then you, Matt. What is it?
I think I don't know. I guess I like that she was like fully independent. Like she ran her own operation, and she ran her own operation. She just went on adventures. She was just like going on adventures all the time because that's what she was. Her grandfather was a pirate or something. Her father was a pirate, but no longer in the picture. And then, and had like this gang of kids. And I don't know. I had a huge crush on her. I thought that she was hot.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think Superman was always the ideal when you're a kid, but Pippi was kind of a little bit more realistic. Her dad left her alone.
That's right.
Just to live in this house called Villa Kula, and he just goes and sails the seas. And I had a huge crush on her too. Yeah. I think she was maybe like Blondie and Pippi were my first 2
Oh my
crushes.
God. Yeah, Blondie was pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're a little different, but
Yeah. Or you know what? Actually, Dale Bozio.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who's
from
Jill?
Berlin?
No,
Or
from Missing Persons.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Band?
She, woman. She's like,
Yeah, she looked like Blondie, kind of, right?
she kind of looked like a cross between Blondie. That people are gonna kill me. They're like a cross between and who's the dude from Twisted Sister?
Oh, Dee Snider.
Dee Snider.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit, like a hair, like
Oh, I have a
5%.
huge crush on Dee
Oh, you
Snider.
do? There you go.
Yeah, that's my ideal.
There you go.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. No, Blondie really hit big my freshman year of high school. And I remembered her just being the ideal. Like, oh, that's the sexiest. And she still is.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah.
For God's sake. She's
Yes.
she's the sexiest, coolest woman alive.
We need to get Blondie and Pippi on this podcast.
And have them fight.
Yeah, but Pippi would probably win.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
she'd
it's
start
like-
beating Blondie, and I'd go, Pippi, are you crazy?
16 millimeter. Stored improperly.